All right. Happy Monday, everybody. This is Off the Rail Sports Podcast. I'm John. This is Brian. How you doing today, Brian?
I'm on the road. Couldn't be better.
When you have such an upbeat attitude, life is literally your oyster, right?
Eh,
You make a soused person to a silk ear, whatever the heck that meant. That was what we
It's
used to
all
hear.
it's all your outlook. You
Yeah.
can see the good or you can see the bad, and
Yeah.
you can live with whatever you see.
Wow, what an optimist. See, we're on both sides of the equation, whether it's baseball or life's looks. I'm like, oh no, the sky is falling. I feel like Eeyore. God bless, right? So how was your weekend? You went
Hey,
to the
if
CrossFit. You went to the
you
CrossFit.
I did. You tell me the sky's falling, I say, cool, we get to touch the clouds.
Touche, touche, my friend. How was the CrossFit?
Good. It was a good meeting. Got to meet with a bunch of other affiliate owners. Some I know. Got to meet some new ones that I didn't know. So yeah, good time intermingling and sharing business ideas and things like that with how to run a gym. Pretty good
Nice,
stuff.
nice. Okay, there we go, right? All
Yep.
right. So we're off and running. Let's talk about baseball. I guess let's talk about the biggest story. The Dodgers have lost three straight series. What do you think?
I think it's awesome. I mean, doesn't everybody?
Yeah, well, I got a feeling there's a lot of Dodger fans who are already at the edge of the building already thinking the end of the world's coming. I mean, we're only 2 weeks into the season, but
Well, I mean, those are the hardcore Dodger fans are probably hurting pretty bad. All those ones that just bought a hat, they're like, oh, okay, so we don't have to pay attention to the Dodgers anymore. They'll
you
put
know,
that thing back in the closet until October.
I did a short this weekend, and I was in downtown LA, and I was in Union Station, and I can't tell you how many people had Dodger jerseys, right? Because they take the train in and then they take the express up the hill. And I was saying that I felt like I had to have a decontamination shower to get away from it. Uh,
Silkwood.
yeah, exactly. Silkwood, exactly, my friend. Oh, that's why you're the best. And they're all roaring and they're all happy. And I can't stand Dodger fans because I really do think they're bandwagon. I really do. But it is nice to see a team that is so elevated in the community. I mean, the Dodgers have a civic responsibility. I think every team does, actually, to put a good product on the field for their fans. And the Dodgers do.
Yeah,
You know,
they do.
it.
They're
And,
they're they're they've been. I mean, they're the LA staple. I mean, more than any other team, and there's a lot of teams here in Southern California.
eight. Yeah,
There's
there
they're
is.
they're the one.
They
Uh,
are.
they, I think this used to primarily be, at least for a while, it was the Lakers,
Sure.
but the Dodgers have overtaken the Lakers in that capacity as
Absolutely.
LA's number one team,
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
I mean, but
We'll
watch out
see
for the
what it is.
Chargers. They're coming.
Oh, God bless you. You always know how to make me laugh on a Monday morning. The Chargers. Win a title first. Win a title, okay? They're still San Diego as far as I'm concerned. You know?
Yeah, they're renting.
They are renting. They're renting. That's exactly what they're going to do. So, the Red Sox, they,
Speaking of
with
losing series,
God, when you talk about teams that frustrate you, and I know we're Red Sox fans. At the minimum, you look at we're going to get 2 out of 3 at Chicago, but man, I didn't realize Chicago became the 27 Yankees, and we got lucky to get out of there with one win.
yeah, I mean, how do you go from riding so high coming out of the Baltimore and St. Louis, and then they just totally tank it against the Blue Jays and the White Sox? I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, they're, I mean, those two series weren't even really competitive.
no, they really weren't. No, there was a fly ball that the right fielder misplayed, and we scored 2 runs. I mean, it was a tough game. Crochet pitched great, but I mean, it is so hard to get my head wrapped around. I've watched the White Sox play the Angels, and I watched them play the Red Sox. It's hard to believe, Brian, that team only won 40 games last year. 41, excuse me. I mean, they play competitive baseball.
Well, they had Crochet last year.
Well, yeah, yeah. How many wins would they have had without Crochet? I don't know, man. Would they have
Oh
had
man.
35? Oh, they'd had a bad day.
Hey,
All
but
right.
so you mentioned uh, that you watched them play the Angels. How about the
Yes.
Angels?
The
They're
Angels are
still
playing
hanging
good
in there, man.
baseball. They
They're
are.
tied for the
They are.
league lead as a team in home runs.
Yeah, that is an amazing statistic. Yeah, and their pitching has been acceptable. I mean, they don't have a real number one starter, but they just seem to find a way to plug it in. And I will say this, that there isn't very many managers I respect more than Ron Washington. I think he's a really, really talented manager, but I guess you were right at the beginning of the season. The two biggest takeaways that you and I think disagreed on were the Angels and the Giants. I thought, man, they're both going to be struggling to be 5 games under 500. And you were absolutely correct that both of them were going to exceed expectations.
Well, I mean, when the expectations are so low, it's easy to exceed them.
Well, I mean, the Giants, I think, are playing like a top
But
5 team in the National League.
yeah, uh, they
They
did a
took
good
the
job
series
against
from
the
the
Yankees.
Yankees. Yeah.
They did a good job against the Yankees. That was nice. They've been playing really well, and yeah, it's I don't know how much of this is what Buster Posey has started building, or is it just momentum from what they had, and he's added a couple of pieces. Got to
Yeah,
see
you never know the truth.
how much of his thumbprint is making a real difference so far.
Right.
Not saying it won't or it can't, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah. So
I tell
bad
you what,
news. Yeah.
I did watch Saturday night. I watched the Mariners and the Rangers game,
Yeah.
and I forget the guy's name. The pitcher for the starting pitcher for the Angels that night or the Mariners, that dude was dealing, and he shut them down.
Gilbert? Was it Gilbert?
It was an Asian guy.
Oh, Woo. Was it
Yeah,
Woo?
Woo, that was
Yeah.
it.
I
And there was one interesting stat they threw up there that since like 2020, the Rangers they have like a 8-33 record in Seattle,
wow. I'm
and
gonna have to
I mean
remember that
Seattle
when I
just
go
hammered
bet.
them. Yeah, Seattle just hammered them. And they played great offense, defense, pitching. Uh,
Well, they don't have enough offense. And we talked about this before the season began. I said hands down, Seattle has the best starting 4 pitchers in baseball. I mean, they are
they did,
lights out,
they
but they
did, and
just can't hit.
yeah, they hit that night.
Okay. Even a blind pig finds a truffle.
Oh,
Um, hey, hey, okay? You can use some sayings, I can too, kid. All right, God
right
bless you.
on, right on.
So the Cubs win the series against the Dodgers, get some really bad news. Their ace, Justin Steele, is out for the year with Tommy John surgery. We've talked about the Tommy John surgeries. We haven't really seen a lot so far this year. What's your feeling on? Do you think they're pitching them too hard, too often? Why do you think we have such an onslaught of Tommy John surgeries?
Too much emphasis on throwing hard.
Yeah,
Period. That's it. Uh, and then the that everybody's got the 100 pitch count limit, or that's
right.
like the magic number. If you think about it, though, starting pitcher throwing 100 pitches in a game. Think about how many times he throws the baseball that day that aren't those 100 pitches. He's
Yeah,
warming up in the bullpen. He's having long toss in the outfield.
he's throwing
They're
pitches
throwing,
before the inning starts.
he's throwing 8 pitches before every inning starts. I mean, And
Right.
when they're in the bullpen, they're throwing, they're cranking it up. I think there's just way too much emphasis on throwing hard all the time and not enough emphasis on developing more pitches and just being able to work counts. It's a whole pitching mindset that I think is messed up with the
Yeah,
era.
but in the major leagues, honestly, how many guys can you really say are pitchers? I mean, like in the Maddox type of role,
Not many.
Jamie Moyer, not many at all, right? I mean,
Right.
and uh, I'm trying to think like Kyle Hendricks, maybe, guys who they throw off speed and then after that they throw a little more off speed, right? Just to
Right.
keep you off the ride. I'm looking at the wins right now. We got Michael King, Brady Singer, and Robbie Ray and Anthony Bonda for the Dodgers are leading the league in 3 wins each. Wow. No names that you really know there, right?
Yeah. Where's Zach Wheeler?
I know. He must have lost one. He must be 2-0. Let's talk. Brian texted me this weekend, and he always gives me some information so I can look half smart when we talk about stuff. Mike Trout has got the league lead in home runs at 6, and he is tied with Wilmer Flores, Aaron Judge, and Kyle Schwarber. It's nice to see Mike Trout back, isn't it?
It is. I've been telling you, dude.
You've been
He's gonna
telling
make
me.
it. He's gonna make it. He's
I
gonna stay
look,
healthy. He's gonna play this year.
look. I I know I just am the realist. You're touching the clouds and singing Kumbaya out there at the CrossFit. Me, I'm over here broken because of 86 and 2003 with the Red Sox. But you know, I I think Mike Trout is truly one of the great players I've ever had the pleasure of seeing. I put him with Ken Griffey Jr. I'd put him, with I'm not going to say Derek Jeter because I'm not going to bring New York trash into this. But yeah, sorry, I'm not going to do it. But man, that guy he's just breaking down. And look, it just happens. It just happens. And I said before the season, I didn't think he'd get to 120 games. I hope I'm wrong. I do, because I think baseball is better when Mike Trout's playing. I wish Mike Trout would be more vocal with the platform he has and elevate baseball and do interviews and things. But okay, that's not his deal. He's allowed to be the player he wants to be, but it is nice to see him producing again on the field for the Angels.
It's very nice to see. And I did see a little clip of him being interviewed, one of those dugout interviews the other
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
And what he did open up about, I mean, it wasn't this like groundbreaking interview or anything like that, but he said, him not being mentioned with the top players in the league anymore, he
sure,
understands it because he doesn't spend as much time on the field the last few years,
right,
but it really gets at him that it's
sure,
almost like his talent is forgotten
yeah,
and it
right,
like eats at him. And he's like so desperate to say, look, if I'm playing, I'm going to be an MVP candidate.
okay. I get it, I get it. But the thing is, with all great athletes, a lot of times they don't realize time has passed them by. And I'm not sitting here saying Mike Trout time has passed him by, time in a bottle, that kind of Jim Croce stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like you say, and you're absolutely right about this. If you're on the field, you got to produce. And he's just not on the field enough anymore to be a top echelon player.
Right.
Just the
Well,
bottom
but when he
line.
is on the field, he does produce. If you even
He
look at
does.
what he was doing last year prior to his injury, he was tearing it
Sure.
up. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's just a matter of him staying on the field. If he stays on the field, he's going to produce. His career is very similar to that of Ken Griffey Jr. You know, it just
hmm
got to a point to where the injuries just kept happening over and over and over, and that was the
I,
worst
I
thing.
I get it.
Griffey and them should have
I
never went to
get it.
Cincinnati. Kept getting hurt.
Well, I mean, but there's a difference. There's a difference between Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Trout, and the difference is Ken Griffey was very engaging with the media. He was the kid. He had the smile. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Mike Trout has an avail. We don't know what Mike Trout's personality is. We don't. We don't have a clue, right? And that's a choice he made cognizantly, right? That he decided, hey, I'm just going to play baseball. I'm going to let my numbers speak for themselves. And they are magnificent. They're Hall of Fame, first ballot type things. But at the end of the day, we want to kind of get to know the player so we feel like we're invested. And I feel like that's where he deviates from the other greats of all time.
If he had been more like you're suggesting, more engaging with interviews and fans and all that kind of stuff, do you think people would have the negative, the comments and stuff that we see about him so often, being that, yeah, but he's never in the playoffs. He should go to a different team, blah, 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 all this stuff about how, he's never produced in the playoffs or anything like that. He never even gets to the playoffs. Griffey never did either.
Right. Nobody talks about it.
But nobody talks about, King Griffey Jr., what did he make the playoffs? Once in his career?
If that, I think, yeah, it was once. Yeah.
I mean,
Right. I
it's
mean, but
never mentioned that he never took his team to the playoffs. It gets brought up with Trout all the time.
there you go. I mean, there's the PR aspect of it, right? I mean, hey, numbers are numbers, right?
Yep.
And there is the perspective. I mean, to me, if you took Derek Jeter and you put him in, let's just say hypothetically, you put him in Cleveland, he wouldn't have got those kind of numbers in the Hall of Fame voting. You know, I mean, you look at his numbers and they're very comparable to Omar Vizquel. Good luck, buddy. How you doing over there? How's the night shift at Denny's?
With
You know what I mean?
comparable to
That's
Omar Vizquel without all the gold gloves.
right. Right. And the 0 for 31. Yeah, right. But Derek Jeter, he had the playoff success. He was engaging with the media. That's what it is, right?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, he
I'm
did
gonna
have an outstanding career too.
He did. I did. As much as I want to hate on him, the guy did it right. What are you going to say? And there's no bigger pressure cooker than New York. That's for sure. I noticed. I was looking through some stats. I'm going to throw a stat at you. I don't think you're going to believe. Well, you might. You're a little more knowledgeable than me. But the stolen base leaders in the major leagues. Okay, O'Neill Cruz from Pittsburgh is the leader. Manny Machado is second. Do you know who's tied for second with him?
Oh, I don't.
I'm going
So
to give
I'm
you a
gonna
hint.
get
I'm going to give you a hint. Hold on. This is
good.
because this is a really unfair question to spring on him, and I am springing this on him to our enormous fan base. He plays for the Red Sox.
I'm gonna say Hamilton.
I would have said that too. Great guess. It's Trevor Story.
Really?
6 stolen bases. I
Good
didn't
for
even
him.
know he's on base. Actually, he's having a really productive year at the plate. You know, but I was like, he's got 6 stolen bases. I didn't think the whole team had that many.
Wow. I mean, if you were gonna tell me it was the Red Sox, my initial guess would have been Duran, but I thought that
Right.
would be too obvious, so that's why I threw out Hamilton.
I would I would have thought maybe it was Campbell. I didn't know. I was like, maybe it's somebody I don't really understand what's going on there. All right.
Good
Well,
stuff.
yeah, it's good stuff, right? Anything else you want to talk about in baseball right now?
Man, I'm good right now.
All right.
Uh,
Still early.
yeah, I'm
Let me
I'm
ask you a
going
quick
for
question. What do you think about the Braves? I mean, I don't want to be like the Sunday night baseball bozos, but, and oh, this is a big series coming up. God dang, we're only 2 weeks into the season, guy. We literally have 1 million more games to go. But they're 4-11. That's kind of a hole to start digging.
This is one of those classic expressions where it's getting late early.
Yeah,
They do need to win a couple of series here this week.
they sure do. And
There you
Acuna,
go.
I haven't seen anything about Acuna's knee. They said they were going to do an MRI. Maybe I missed it, but I worry if he's not going to play. What are they going to
I mean,
do?
the biggest thing is like 4-11. Yeah, that's pretty shitty. Uh, but a 4-11 in the middle of the season, you're just going to say, all right, that's a little
Yeah,
down spell. We'll get
sure.
out of it. So it's not like this is going to kill them, but yeah, it's you don't want to fall too far behind too soon because then you're just never going to make it up.
Yeah, yeah. And what do you
So
think of the Red Sox so far?
very frustrating,
Yeah.
extremely frustrating.
Thank God
But
nobody's pulling away.
yeah, the division is still fairly close. I think the Blue Jays and the
Hmm.
Yankees are going to battle this week.
Right.
So hopefully they split that series so no one gets a big lead on anybody and it stays nice and tight and confusing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Anytime I could see mayhem happen to New York, I know we got things going really, really well. Boston rolls into Tampa Bay, and New York plays Minnesota, but then they play, I believe they play Toronto this weekend. So
Are
yeah,
they
that'll
going to
be
Tampa
nice.
Bay or New York South?
Yeah. What do you think of that stadium? Oh my God. Hello?
Uh, well, whatever. It's
Yeah,
better than
whatever.
Tampa. That freaking hole.
I was talking about Tampa, but yeah.
Oh,
That's okay. That's okay. I know we're talking about our little disagreement about the athletics. Yeah.
no, I'm talking about Tampa playing down in New York's AAA building.
Yeah, I know. Steinbrenner
That's
Stadium.
better. Steinbrenner Stadium. That's better than the Tampa Stadium they had. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe it got improved. Maybe the hurricane actually didn't hurt them. It was actually a renovation. We had Ty out
Well,
there.
I don't know. It tore the roof off. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Play baseball without a roof like everybody else.
I got a funny feeling, Brian, they're worried about stuff falling on the customers, but what do I know, right? Baseball took 90 years to put netting there so people didn't get crushed on the first and third base lines with foul balls, right?
Hey, hey, if you go into a baseball game, man, you got to be prepared to catch a baseball.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
what everybody wants, right?
They don't want one in the face, Brian. They don't
Well,
want to look like me. They want to end up looking like you. They want to walk away with all their faculties.
you
Okay,
gotta.
they don't want to look like me that went 15 rounds with Mike Tyson on the losing end. God bless,
Yeah, there's no
right?
way you would last 15 rounds with Mike Tyson.
Oh my God. One day I got to tell you my Mike Tyson story. And
All right,
it was something else, but that's something for another day.
all right,
All right. That's it. You're off and running, and I guess we'll see you on Thursday, right?
all right.
Lord.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good day. All right.
See
Late.
ya.